everybody. Welcome to the Getting Started webinar for Planbook Plus. My name is Ruth, and I'm here with my colleague Tabitha.
Hello, everyone.
And we are excited to help you plan your lessons using Planbook Plus. Today we're going to take about 45 minutes, and that will include a question and answer session at the end of the demonstration. Our goal today is to make sure you feel comfortable with the site to start planning on your own. Before we begin, I want to go over the webinar panel and some details. We have placed you in listeners mode upon entry into the webinar. This is going to avoid any background noise that might occur. And the webinar site consists of two panels. You will see our share panel and a chat panel. You may use the moderated chat panel to ask questions at any point during the presentation. We will either answer your question there or we'll let you know that it's going to be addressed later in the conversation. Now let's go over the agenda for today's webinar. Today we're going to take a little time to discuss what puts the plus in Planbook Plus. We're also going to go over different ways that you can plan using Planbook Plus. Using the different views in Planbook Plus, you can have a custom planning experience. Whether you prefer daily planning, weekly planning, or long-term planning, there is a view to fit your needs. We're going to show you how to set your preferences for your plan books to help mimic your school day. So that's going to set up your shared holidays, custom holidays, and scheduling types. Another feature we're going to show you is how you can share these plan books with teachers, administrators, and students. This is a feature that is available to our Advanced Planner subscribers. Then we will discuss future enhancements, user feedback, and support information. Now, what puts the plus in Planbook Plus? Planbook Plus is a full-featured online lesson planner. It was designed by educators, and it's going to allow you to map your lessons to preloaded state standards, as well as add activities and resources to your lessons. We have a completely customizable lesson plan template. You can use our default template, or you can create your own elements using our custom element designer. We also provide you multiple views to allow for a more individualized planning experience. The calendar view is going to allow you to add lessons to your daily view and also use it as a guide throughout your school day. The timeline view is unique to Planbook Plus and is a quick and easy way to scope and sequence your course for long-term planning. The weekly planner is going to give you weekly plans at a glance to view and edit on one page. Now we're going to get into the site and walk you through some of the steps to help you get started. I'm going to pass it over to Tabitha to begin with our calendar view.
You are first taken to the calendar view. The calendar view is going to be where you do your daily planning, or you may use this on an everyday basis to help guide you through your day. This drop-down menu will display the plan book you are currently editing as you move through the different views. Right now, you can see we are currently editing the math plan book. The calendar view allows you to view multiple plan books by using the plan book drop-down menu and selecting the plan books you want to view. I am going to load our science plan book. Notice that your plan books are in order based on the times that were set. Another unique feature is the filter drop-down menu. The filter drop-down allows you to customize the elements you want to see in the calendar view. You may want to select a default to always show your goals, objectives, materials, and essential questions. If those are the elements you would like to view on a regular basis, you would click Set to Default. You may want to view additional elements that are not in your default at a later date. You can do so by checking off those elements from the filter drop-down menu. The elements will load on your calendar as you select them. If this view becomes too overwhelming and you want to go back to your default, you can simply click Load Default. The calendar view has navigation tools that allow you to jump forward a week or back a week. You can also use the date selector to select another day during the month. You can view your calendar in a day view or a week view. To begin inputting lessons, you can click on the drop-down arrow and select Edit Lesson, or you can click on the lesson name. Once you click to edit your lesson, you are taken to the Planbook item edit page. Here is where you can enter all the details of your lesson plan. You are first taken to the Elements tab, which allows you to type in your plans. Currently, I am using the default design template. However, this can be customized by clicking on the Customize Element Design button, which we will go over later in this webinar. Once you have created your design, you can begin planning. Simply click in the text box and begin typing. This is my goal. Once you are done, click in the next text box. You will notice your changes have automatically been saved. Now I can enter my materials: pencils, paper, rulers. Since this is a list, I am going to check the box that says Enable Auto Bulleting. This will automatically bullet each line in the text box. Now that we have entered all the details of our lesson plan, we can begin attaching standards. Planbook Plus allows you to attach standards two different ways: using the standards description box or by selecting a standard from our preloaded standards picker. To enter a standards description, click on the Edit button and simply type or copy and paste standards from another document. You can also use our preloaded standards picker by clicking on the Add Standards button. A pop-up window will display, allowing you to choose your state and standards. Select your state, your subject, and your grade level. You can use the search bar to search for a keyword, or you can use the tree to find a specific standard. You can add standards at the lowest level, which would be the standard level, or the highest level, which will select everything beneath that. Once you are done, click Finish. This will attach the chosen standards to your lesson plan. If you made a mistake and you would like to remove standards, click the checkbox next to the ones you would like to remove, and then click the Remove Selected button. If you are looking for a set of standards that are not loaded in our system, please feel free to reach out to our support team, and we would be happy to get those on a list for us to load for you. The next tab we are going to go over is the Resources tab. The Resources tab allows you to add different types of resources. All Planbook Plus users have the ability to add websites and text resources. If you are an advanced Planbook Plus user, you have the ability to add file resources. Simply select the type of resource you would like to add. In this case, I will select a website resource. Now I'm going to click Add Resource. Give your resource a title: Google. Now type or paste in the website URL, www.google.com. Once you are done, click Add. This will now add the resource to your resources list. Notice that the link becomes clickable, which will then take you to the website in another Internet tab. If you want to delete a resource, simply click the checkbox next to the resource you would like to remove and click the Delete Selected button. The last tab we will go over is the Overview tab. The Overview tab allows you to change the main details of your lesson, such as the name, the time, the duration, and the start date. This can all be done by clicking on the Edit button. Now that we have entered in our first lesson plan, let's return to the calendar view to see these changes. You can now see all the details we've entered are updated in the calendar view. The next way to plan in Planbook Plus is by using our timeline view, which Ruth will go over.
Now remember, the timeline is going to be effective for outlining your course and for long-term planning. The timeline view is made up of two parts. There's an outline portion and a timeline. Today we're going to go over the very basics of your timeline view, and you can look forward to an upcoming webinar we're going to be having specifically based on how to use the timeline. To add items to your outline, you're going to use the Add buttons at the top. Add an item below will add an item at the same level of the item you have highlighted. Add a sub-item will add an item underneath that lesson. It'll actually make your lesson into a unit and add a sub-item under that to become your lesson. And that's going to be great for organizing all of your lessons into units and even subunits and then items. Now that we've added items, let's rename our items. To rename an item, simply just double-click, type in the name, and click Enter. It's just as easy as that. Double-click, rename, and then click Enter. And as you can see, as we're adding items, your timeline is being populated and everything is being displayed in consecutive order. On the timeline, you can drag an item to cover that item for 2 days if you know that that lesson is going to last more than a day. You can delete an item simply by highlighting and pressing the delete key on your keyboard. You can also click the X inside the timeline. Now we have just created the outline of lessons, but there are no details. So when you're ready, you can click on the details link in the outline to add your element narrative, your standards, and your resources. And that will take you back to that same place that Tabitha had showed you earlier, where you can add your standards and select your state. So now that we've done the very basics of our timeline, we're going to move on to our weekly planner view, and Tabitha is going to take over for that.
The last way to plan is by using the weekly planner view. The weekly planner allows you to view your week at a glance. You can see that you have the same navigation features. By using the forward and back arrows, you can jump week by week, or you can use the date selector to jump to a specific day. The weekly planner has the same filter options as the calendar view. You can filter the elements you want to edit by selecting those elements in the filter drop-down menu. You can also access the Customize Element Design page, which will allow you to customize your template with different elements. The weekly planner works similar to the Planbook item edit page, where you can click on the text box and begin typing. Once you click off that text box, your changes will automatically save. A few things I would like to point out are, clicking the lesson name will take you back to the Planbook item edit page, where you can pick standards and attach resources to your lesson plans. The weekly planner gives you the flexibility to add standards in the standards description box, or you can pick standards by clicking the Attach Standards link, which will also bring you back to the Planbook item edit page. The last feature I would like to discuss on this page is the Print to PDF button. This button will take all your lesson plans for the week that you're in and put them in a PDF file, which could be printed or emailed. You can use these for substitute teachers or administrators. These can also be accessed by visiting the Reports page. The next page we are going to discuss is the Settings page, which Ruth will go over in detail.
Planbook Settings is going to allow you to set settings specific to your plan books. You can change the name of a plan book, start date, and the times of that class. You can inactivate your plan book if you no longer need it. We don't like to permanently delete your plan books to risk you losing your work. So if you want to delete a plan book, you can simply just inactivate it by clicking on that checkbox. Holidays can also be set in your Planbook settings. There are 2 different types of holidays in Planbook Plus. Shared holidays will mimic your school calendar, and it's going to be holidays that affect all of your plan books, like Martin Luther King, or maybe you have an Easter break or a spring break coming up. Custom holidays are specific to that class. Do you have an assembly during that class which may affect your schedule for that day? If you set a custom holiday for that particular day, it'll push that lesson to the next day. You can also set your scheduling for each of your plan books. Planbook Plus can accommodate A/B scheduling, weekday scheduling, and a custom rotation. Let me show you a little bit more detail on the custom rotation. So for example, if you have a 6-day rotation, you'll change this to 6 days, and then you can choose the days that you would teach that class. The next tab in your settings is going to be for the element designer. We've been talking about creating custom lesson elements and templates, and you can do this within settings in the custom element designer. This designer is also accessible from the other views that display the elements. You can edit existing elements by clicking the pencil icon next to each element. Each element has a student sharing option, and you can choose to always, never, or choose when to release that item to the students. Adding new elements is easy at the bottom of the screen by just naming that element and selecting the element type and choosing the sharing type. If you create an element design in one plan book, you can also reuse that and append it into another plan book at the bottom. The last tab in your settings is going to be for teacher sharing. Teacher sharing is a recent feature that was added to Planbook Plus, and if you know other teachers using Planbook Plus, you can share your plan books and lessons with each other. When you enter the Teacher Sharing tab, you will see a list of all teachers that plan book is currently shared with. You can share with another user by inputting their email address and clicking on Check User. Check User is going to verify that they have an account with us on Planbook Plus. Once we verify the user's email, you'll see a check mark, and then you can share that plan book. Now that you have seen how to share one of your plan books, let's take a look at how you can access a plan book that was shared with you. To access a shared plan book, you will need to go to the Planbook search page. That is accessible from either your My Planbooks menu or from the Planbook Plus logo in the left-hand corner. That's going to take you to your Planbook search page. You're going to select to see the plan books shared with me, and that will display all the plan books that have been shared with you. From there, you can view that plan book or you can copy it, and you can use any of the views for that plan book, the timeline, the weekly planner, or the calendar view. If you want to copy a whole plan book, you will use the copy icon listed under the actions. If you only want to copy a part of that plan book, you're going to go to that plan book in the timeline view using the timeline link in the actions menu. From the timeline, you can select a unit or lesson to copy. If you need to copy multiple lessons in a unit, you'll want to select the entire unit for copying, because when you enter your copy wizard, you'll be able to select those individual lessons from there. Once you have your item highlighted, you can click the copy button above the timeline. When you click copy, you'll come to the Planbook copy wizard. There are a few easy steps to copy, and then you can begin editing your new lessons. You will see the source listed, and in that area you can choose the items that you want to copy. Then you'll select your destination plan book and the location of the new lessons. So you'll choose the position, either below or sub-item, which is going to be similar to what you saw on timeline. You'll select to highlight the location and then choose below or sub-item if you want to put those items inside of an existing unit. The next step will give you a preview of the newly designed plan book. You can see in blue the new lessons have been added to your plan book, and they should be located in the position that you selected. If everything looks good, you can click Next to move on to the next step. If you need to adjust that position, you can click Previous and select a new position and preview again. Every plan book will look and feel different. They may have different elements based on who created it. Planbook Plus will give you the opportunity to map the new elements from your shared plan book to your existing elements in your destination plan book. If the name matches, we're going to give you the suggestion of matching that to an existing element. If there is no match, you'll have a few options to choose from. You can choose an existing element from your design to map it to. And if there is nothing that matches your design, then you can append that element to your design, or you can choose to ignore that element and not copy the information. So for this example, we have goals and objectives in our shared plan book, and in my plan book, I call that element objectives. So I'm going to map that to my objectives. Once you have mapped all your elements, you can click Finish and Copy. That will take you back to your timeline where you can go to your newly designed plan book with your new lessons in it. Now Tabitha is going to go through and show you how to share your plan books with your students.
Ruth went over the different settings you can set for your students to see specific elements in your plan book. I am going to quickly go over the different icons you'll see in the calendar view once you have set those settings. If you have an element that you want your students to always see, you will notice an icon that is grayed out with a check mark next to it. This means your students will always be able to see this element. If you have an element that you want to choose if you want your students to see it or not, depending on the situation, you will notice the same icon, only now you will be able to check and uncheck, giving you the option to allow your students to view this element or not. The choice setting gives you the most flexibility. If you have selected to never show an element to your students, you will not see an icon next to that element, indicating this will never show for students. For example, my assessment will never show for my students. Files, standards, and websites will always default to the choice option, which will allow you to choose if you want your students to see these or not. Now that we have set everything that we want to share with our students, let's go over on how to give students access to the student view mode. To give student access, click on the My Plan Books button and select Student Sharing. This will bring you to our Plan Book Sharing Links page. Begin by giving your link a name. If you want your students to enter a password on entry, you would type that password here. Then select the plan books you want to share with your students. Once you are done, click the plus button to create the link. Now that you have created a link, you can distribute this link to students or parents so they know exactly what's going on in your classroom. This link can be posted on a teacher website, emailed, printed on a syllabus, or any other form of communication you have with your parents and students. Let's take a look at what students see. I'm going to copy and paste this link in a new tab. This link gives your students access to your plan book, which will only allow them to view the elements you want them to see. This is especially great for keeping those students who are absent or parents up to date on what's going on in the classroom the day that they are out. Students do not have access to edit your plan book. They can just view what you allow them to see. You can always remove access from your students by deleting the link. Please note, once a link is removed, the same link will never be recreated. You will need to distribute a new link to students and parents. Student and teacher sharing is one of our new features in Planbook Plus. We hope it allows you to plan more efficiently and keep your students up to date with everything that goes on in your classroom. This wraps up the demonstration portion of this webinar. We are now going to go over a few enhancements that are coming to Planbook Plus, followed by any questions that you may have for us.
We are really excited about some upcoming features we are developing for Planbook Plus. These features will be coming out in the next few months. But we also want to hear from you. Our system was designed by educators, but we look for feedback from our users for upcoming enhancements. Please contact one of our support team members to let us know what you would like to see in Planbook Plus. That wraps up the presentation for today. What we're going to do is open up our moderated chat for question and answer. If you have any questions, please feel free to chat us in the chat box. Thank you for participating in our Planbook Plus webinar. We know you'll enjoy your experience with Planbook Plus. We can be reached for support at our email address our web address, support.planbookplus.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you, everybody, and we'll hang around for some questions if you have any.
Hello, hopefully everybody can hear me. This is Ruth. If you guys do have any questions, please feel free to use the moderated chat up below, and I can help answer your question or do a demonstration in the system to answer any questions that you may have. I'll stick around for about another couple minutes. Just let me know if you have any questions. Okay, I don't think we have any additional questions. I just wanted to thank everybody again for attending this evening, and I hope you have a great night. Thank you.